Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Sales Trails. My name's Nick. Thanks for joining me on my flipping adventure today. Firstly, we're still outside Larissa station waiting for a sort of either a coach or a minibus to take us to our location today. And we'll be going to Poseidon's temple alongside the lake and the beach and everything else. I'm here with Juicy Pixel.
Juicy Pixel, baby, what's happening?
So we've been here now. This is technically day 4, but day 3 of the full days. We've done quite a lot this week, so I am fairly tired. The bed is awful in the hotel, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to meet up with you maybe on the road, but more than likely at our first destination. So we're at the first stop here at the lake. So it's actually a really small lake in size. It's usually good for venues such as weddings and private events. So you can go in there, do swimming, because it's actually very warm there. You're looking at about 28, 29 degrees. I can't remember the Fahrenheit, it's like 80 or so. But this was actually a massive cave in a previous life, as you would call it, which had a cave in, and obviously they've sort of excavated it out a little bit. But the water there is actually extremely deep for such a small lake. It goes like 800 meters down, or like I think it's 100 meters at some points there. So that's why they've cornered off the one section, because it's got like a suction down through down into the ground. So you've got to be very wary when you're swimming in there. Obviously they got fencing up on the top as well to stop cliff divers. So when you do that, it's not allowed, it's actually forbidden. So yeah, this is like a private place. Obviously down here we'd have private events such as weddings. But yeah, nice little first stop. Quite happy with this one. So just before we go, I forgot to say actually that this is a brackish water, which means it's salty water. It's obviously not drinkable. It has geothermal properties to it as well, so as I said, it was actually warmer, so it has basically heated floor underneath as such. So yeah, very balmy, perfect for walks. This is actually treated as more of like I said, a retreat, like a health spa. It has a in the distance it has like a restaurant, cafe and everything like that, but it is a member sort of like pay entry sort of deal. To be honest, I think me and Aaron were saying it's super clean, super clear down on the bottom down there. So it must be like really good for your skin, almost, I would say as well. But yeah, we're not going to go down there, and I don't have swim shorts, so we'll just get back on the bus to go to our next destination. So here we are, guys. It's a short stop just to do a viewpoint. So we're in a lay-by on the roads by here. Scenery so far has been fantastic. Obviously you've got the ocean on that side, and then you've got all of these sort of olive trees and everything like that on this side, and everyone's sort of houses for the summer. But we're going to be swinging around here. Right on the top of there is our destination, and that is the Temple of Poseidon. And we've been making our way down. We've been seeing all these different islands and like that. There was an island, if you've got 150 million, it was a perfect island for you just over there. There's actually one for sale, but it's nice to be out. It's going to be a bit windy when we get up there, because as you can see, or might not be able to see in the distance here, there's an island. It's got loads of wind farms. It's actually meant to be a very windy sort of area. So we're going to have a little chill out by here for a bit, and then I'll see you up there. So here we are, guys. We are at Poseidon's temple. So just down there is the ticket office. It costs 20 euros. Obviously we're on a tour guide thing today, so that costs an extra 30 quid I think overall, but that includes like the whole transport and transfers around and showing where we are. So down there, I'm pretty sure she mentioned that's an Athena old temple, but because of funding it's not being rebuilt. But you can go down and see that, I'm pretty sure, but there's gates down there at the moment. Probably costs a couple of quid knowing that. But you got modern with ancient here. So modern here, so your hotels there, and then you've got housing in the background. They're probably rather wealthy people who own those, but this actually looks like a pretty cool place to stay. Can you imagine being down there, having a beer, being on the beach, then looking up, and up here is the temple. So we're gonna make our way up I'm going to probably try and not break up the video too much, but we'll have a little look. We don't really bother with the QR codes to do the, you know, the information sort of thing. We just go as we go along. This is only here for how we interpret the sites. I obviously, you know, try to do a little bit of fact checking, but at the same time I'm just going to do my own interpretation. But we'll start off by here. So this is the archaeological site of Strolling. So we're actually situated right down on the coast on the far southern eastern side of the Attica region, which is the Athenian region. And yeah, it's been beautiful all the way around. The scenery, the coastal sort of scenery has been fantastic. But I'm going to leave this for you guys so you can have a look as you will. So the temple itself is actually separated into 3 rooms. So you have a room which is on the, I think it's the eastern side, which is aimed at the sun. That's usually the entrance. Then you have the room with the statues in there. So this is actually the second temple of the area. The first one was actually destroyed in the Persian Wars. So this one was rebuilt 40 years later on, and they had a statue buried under ground. I can't remember who it was by or who it was of, but they buried it, and that can be found in the National Museum of Archaeology in Athens. It's just up the road from where we are staying. So this temple is a second iteration. It was built, like I said, 40 years after. It's still really old. I think it's still like 2,500 years old. But it's going to be fantastic. It's really beautiful down on the bottom. When you get further up, it's looking even more majestic. But yeah, some of the views are spectacular. It's actually extremely quiet here today. On our tour actually, there's 6 of us, 4 Americans and us 2 Welsh lads. Oh, there we go. So there must have been a tower by here. It's mentioning down in there, tower. But I think you can go down here. So our guide mentioned that the area itself was one of the ancient ports. So imagine if you go down here, it makes the entrance to the port. This is actually the roadway up to the temple from the port, and it had like walled sort of buildings here, maybe like a little sort of settlement to go alongside it as well. But I'm going to make our way up to the temple. I'm probably going to go down to the port to have a little look at that, and I think there's something else over there before we get a refreshment for the trip. So here we have the archaeological site of Strolling. I can't really pronounce it very well. So there's a depiction of the Poseidon temple itself. Now this temple, I've found out there was 3 different types of columns. So if we look back at the Acropolis when we were in Athens, there's different types of columns. So we've got Doric, Ionic and Corinthian. This one actually looks Doric, which is the oldest and heaviest looking and least ornate as such, because as it goes to the Ionic it's a little bit flowering, and the Corinthian has got very much Roman influences, and it's very floral, very out there as such. But yeah, this is going to be the site. So as I mentioned, it was like a port sort of temple. You've got the port sort of side by here, there's the road going up to the temple, and then there's like a settlement there as well. Obviously it has been sort of walled, gated, and here's a sort of a map of it as well. So I was mentioning the towers down on the bottom. Our entrance is somewhere down here, or is it the bastion over there? Yeah, we're down here because obviously we're coming up and around up here as well. So you have the settlement there, the port, and then the temple at the top. And always mentioning the stoa, like I said, there's the roofed sort of area here. But we're going to make our way up to the temple, have a little wander around as well, and see what's what. And actually, as I just mentioned, the sort of walled sort of area, got a sign here looking at thick stone fortress walls. So yeah, very, very strategic, very, very important place back in the day. Like I said, the port, as well as the walled surroundings and the strategic sort of aspect of it as well, because you can see kilometers around. So you got the more of the, I think there might be more mainland over that side there, the islands here as well, so you'll be able to look at the harbors, the ships coming in, obviously being able to be aware of your surroundings obviously makes it a lot more strategic. But we'll go down here first before going to the main meat of the video. So first of all, thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you're enjoying the video so far. It's been a fantastic day here so far, and the weather's been kept good for us, to be honest. I would say that, compared to yesterday where it was a bit of a rainy whitewash. But as I mentioned before, here's a stoa. So there's been pillars in between here, and they would have had like a roof, and it would just been like a causeway, probably just to get away from the elements and to be able to be under covers. Hopefully my protector on my GoPro is working quite well for you guys. It is rather windy today. As I mentioned, down on the bottom they have an island with a lot of wind farms, and because this is quite a windy part of Greece, right on that peninsula of the mainland. So as you can see, it's quite expansive, this site here. There's a lot of paths going down towards the ocean front. I'll probably do those at the end of the video. I'm just going to slowly make my way around the temple. But look how cool that is. So I'm fairly certain, now don't quote me as I always say, but I'm fairly certain this Poseidon temple is actually twinned with the Parthenon, or Pantheon. I keep getting them confused, I do apologise. I'll probably leave a link saying stop being silly. But here is Poseidon's temple. Now the tour guide did mention that a gentleman called Byron, I can't remember his name, it was a big thing back in the day to write your names in the sandstone, and she said it's meant to be a square pillar here which has Byron's name on it. Might be on the other side, but as you can see, you might not be able to see it, but all of these have got all names sort of like dragged into it, carved out. But the footing's actually pretty good up here. It's not amazing, slightly better than the Acropolis. The Acropolis is a little bit shiny and a little bit slippery, but wow, if you're scared of heights, don't watch. But wow, beautiful clear waters, unlike the sort of other side of Athens, the Piraeus side, where it's a little bit more silty and a little less blue. But one thing I'll always say about Greece, I'm never not surprised of how beautiful it is. I love Wales a lot. I think Greece is another one on my list of beautiful places. Just these rocky outcrops by here. I'm definitely going to sit down and have a beer over there later on when we finish having a little look around this gorgeous archaeological site. So as I mentioned, the pillars are Doric in nature. So Doric has basically got this sort of slight concave to them, no ornate sort of designs to it, unlike the Ionic and the Corinthian. As you notice as well, the pillars are in like blocks, which is crazy as well. I'm not too sure, I'm wondering if it's like pins in the middle of them. I have seen pillars knocked down and they've got these little square marks in them, sometimes not always in the middle, sometimes just off the middle. So it might be where they're built and there's like pins to go in between just to hold them in place, but I'm assuming these are extremely heavy as it is anyway. Let's keep going around. I probably will have a look down in the down on the port side, down on the harbours, down on the bottom, as well as taking just a chill out down there and reflect on this beautiful site. How are you finding this site, Mr. Aaron?
It's lovely, it's very dramatic.
Yeah, I know, looking at the landscape and everything as well, I was looking at it going, I mean like a strategic sort of side of it. It's got a lot of importance and it's, like you say, dramatic, but at the same time just very, very pretty, and being able to see into the distance and that. there's obviously that difference between modern and ancient. But actually it's really well preserved, isn't it?
It's a very good strategic point. You could literally see enemies coming in land unseen.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Like.
As you can see, this is so sick. I love these sort of coastal sort of paths and windy sort of roads with all the bushes now on them in Greece. I do love the country in itself. If I was able to later on in life have a secondary home, it would probably be in Greece, just so I could be able to enjoy summers here. To be honest, the winter period is pretty good as well. So as I mentioned, there's sort of walling and everything like that here. But it just shows how sort of, you know, well cut and well made these sites are. I can't believe how in awe I am of that building there, and for it being 2,500 years old and standing there proud like that. But I think we're going to try and make our way down to the harbour sort of sides down by here and have a little look what's going on there. So here we have a native bird, or it might be a native bird, or it's a partridge anyway. Very loud, but yeah. Wasn't too sure if we were allowed down here because I just seen he was cornered off, but one of the guards was here having a little wander. I said, "Oh, are we able to go down?" He said, "Yeah, don't go down to the sea, but we still make our way down here, obviously towards the harbour side, instead of going back down to the entrance and around." But as I always say in a lot of my videos, even when walking, always make sure you're wearing appropriate footwear. This is quite good, but it's like a rocky sort of shaly sort of on foot, so it does move alongside what you know where you're walking. So be careful. It is rather windy here, but very beautiful. Let's get back on the normal path. So I hope you're enjoying the Athens series as such. Let me know in the comments what you thought was the best video to date. I think there might be one or two more after this anyway. And yeah, let me know if you would ever want to go to Athens, or if you're a big fan of Greece, what your favourite parts of Greece are. Mine usually is the food and the beer, but the history is also fantastic as well. So as I mentioned on the start of the video, where there was the maps, obviously this is a sign to say going up to the temple here. That partridge is on his way up this path on a war mission to go find the other one. But we're going to go down, like I said, following that path down to the harbour side. I am sorry as well if I do repeat myself several times. It's just one of those things for me to remember what I'm talking about. Usually it's gibberish, but like I said, it's my own interpretation of the sites and my experience here in Poseidon's temple and in Athens and Greece itself. Oh. It's actually a really nice day. I'm quite happy that it's not raining, it's not overly sunny, because we've been doing quite a lot of walking over the past couple of days. Overall we've done probably about 80,000 steps roughly, which equates to, I don't know, 15 miles easy, just around the national sites and a little bit around Piraeus as well. So we're looking for a little bit more of a chill day. I think we're going to go to the Hill of the Muses later on and have a beer up on the top. There's a really nice cafe sort of pub up on the top as well, so get a snack, get a drink. But we're making our way here to some archaeological sites. This looks to me like this would be it's like a row of buildings working on its way up. And on the depiction of this site, as you can see, there's lots of sort of like linear sort of streets, buildings, not streets, because it didn't look like there's too many buildings here, but like linear buildings working its way up. Or this might just be the start of where the harbour would have all of its supplies and whatnot. As I said, a very important ancient harbour was here. personally, I think you'd have to be insane to be able to moor up here, as we'll make our way down to the edge where here we'll see the rocky outcrops on the base of the cliffs, and to me it looks like a death wish for the most part. We'll come back to the settlements on this side by here as we make our way down to the cliff face. It looks like the wind is chopping up the water here, just like yesterday in Piraeus, where it was a lot of white water crashing in onto the shores. I personally think you'd have to be insane to want to moor up in this. But as you can see, the water is blue, pretty crystal clear to a degree. You can see where it gets darker there, or that might be the rocks, but you can see meters and meters underneath, right down into there. That's very pretty. I would love, if it was warmer, to be able to go for a swim in there, but I'm not going to do that. Maybe have a little quick look down over here, and then we'll do the settlement, or I might do the settlement and then come back this way. It also doesn't matter what country I'm in. Whenever I go past someone, I'm always doing morning, morning. Very, very Britishy, sort of Welshy, Britishy thing of us. Saying, how's it going, mate? How are you doing? Yeah. And having that general conversation with everyone who walks past. But we are making our way now to what looks to be where they did have the harbour. Yes, as you can see, there'll be rocks down on here. So it's the port and the ship's sheds. So we walked down this here, and as I mentioned, it was like that street. So that would have been the inhabitants' sort of street area. But we're now currently down just by here to have a look at the port side. So as you can see, there's a staircase going up that side, or I would say staircase, that's probably the wall, but it looks like a staircase as it's been knocked down and sort of staggered on the way up. But yeah, I'm really happy about this trip. I wasn't too sure what to expect, because we were going to be going to a little lake, stopping off there, stopping off over the Viewpoint, which was actually, I think, over the other side of this bay, so over there. But as you can see, obviously down there, that would be so much easier to be able to moor up, but here, not so much. So I'm assuming this is where it was. As you can see down on there, there are some sort of square rocks, so I imagine that's from where they built the buildings and such for the port. But I can see if I can sneak and show you it on the wall. I did see through the tree line that there was some cut stone, which would indicate obviously non-natural movement. Let's have a little look here. Yeah, see, so you can see here there's sort of a shape like a wall. It's grooved in. Imagine that's where the boats are sort of more in, and then you've got the walls there. Then obviously that's been built up. I'm assuming either there was like a staircase or some sort of like meandering path to come up onto here to go up to the temple. It's quite a substantial sized building, so you can see it starts by here as well, and on there, so that's a good 20 foot wide, and it looks like there's actually quite a lot of the stones going into the ocean as well. But yeah, we'll make our way up now to the settlement, sort of the straight line settlement going up there, and then work our way back up to the temple once more. So I think I might have actually lost Aaron. I did leave him just up there. He's a little bit tired today after all the walking we've been doing. There we go. This is the settlement, the inhabitants. So this settlement extends most of the area inside the fortress. It endured for a long time, but the buildings have now undergone several repairs and transformations. The phase is now visible, which we're going to be looking at, is from the Hellenistic period. It housed the garrisons, the conscripts, and the general caretakers of the sanctuary. So let's have a little look. I'm going to give you a little bit of an idea of what's here. If you want to read that, pause and have a little read. But I'm going to make my way up the settlement to the top and then wind back up to the temple. So having a garrison, having inhabitants here, and the actual grandeur of the site itself, it'd be indicative of it being a very important, strategic, holy site, which we can all still see today in its glory, and it's commanding the landscape as well. Like, you see that temple from a mile off. Well, probably more than a mile, to be honest. But as you can see, these inhabitants, these buildings for the garrisons and the caretakers of the site and everything else, is actually built on sort of tiered system. So it makes me wonder, where were the entrances? Did they have little grooves in between, or were there like steps going up onto them, or were they just cut out and they had a big step on the top, maybe to stop from flooding in the sort of winter times, because like yesterday it was torrential rain for the most part. There's some flooring left. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so there used to be like a step to be able to get into the building itself. So I'm a bit surprised when it comes down there, unless these are one big building that separates out, because it looks like you've got a doorway there and a doorway there. That could probably be it, actually. Little alleyways. I can imagine this place being bustling with activity, especially as it being an important little harbour port in Greece. And there we are, we found Aaron right at the top of here. Oh, here we go, it's a little carved out, potentially be like a sink or a basin or some wash. But yeah, it's quite a long path actually. Wouldn't know how many inhabitants would be here, but I'd probably say a few hundred at least, especially due to its significance. So because I've gone around most of the site, I've actually run out of time. I was going to do like a timer lapse around Poseidon's temple, but if you go visit Juicy Pixel's channel, he's got a fantastic sort of hyperlapse for you, so you can see the whole building in less than 10 seconds. So go check that out if you want to see it at a very high quality, so 4K imagery around it as well, so you can get into the detail. So as I mentioned, down right by the port harbour side, this is the fortress wall making its way around. It actually makes its way to where I started the video, where I said there was a little fortress wall on the top. As you can see, it curves its way around the cliff edge, and then again you get that spectacular view of Poseidon's temple. But for me, I think that's going to be the video. We've got a little bit of time to be able to go get some refreshments, so we're going to go get a coffee because it's still really early. Aaron is absolutely knackered. He would have quite happily have had a nap on the bus, but we're all having a lot of conversation. Yeah, he tried to, but we all talk. So but yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you can leave a like, a sub, share it with everyone, maybe share the series with everyone. Let me know what you thought about Poseidon's temple. As I mentioned throughout the video, let me know what you think of Greece. What's your favourite bits of it? Have you ever been to Greece yourself, or if there's something on the cards? But again, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.
Click the notification bell or subscribe to keep up with new videos every week. We have more videos just like this one on the Trails and Talking playlist. Link will be in the description below. Or if you're interested in how I fund the channel, check out the sales and flipping videos. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.